Hello Brick Sculptors and welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris and today we're going to do a long anticipated video, one I get asked for quite frequently. This is kitchen tips, tricks, and techniques. So very excited to make this one. I love making kitchens in Lego houses because they're just so detailed, so much you can do with them. So I'm going to show you some cool techniques. As always, feel free to steal any of these techniques and use them in your own Lego cities and mocks. And let's go ahead and take a look. The first kitchen I have laid out here is kind of an upper scale home where they have a nice modern look. We got a little kitchen table here with some money and a coffee cup on it, a nice tall glass vase with some flowers. Over here we have kitchen cabinets and a countertop, and then some nice lighting hanging up top. This is probably the easiest or most simple technique and one of the best looking for doing Lego cabinets. These pieces are just these boxes, the cabinets that come with either a door, like you see here, or you can put two drawers in them, like you see here. They're awesome because they're great scale for minifigs. When you do put a countertop on top, it gets a little tall in comparison to the minifig. As you probably know, minifigs have proportion issues. They're wide and short, so sometimes height can be real tricky, so trying to keep things lower to the ground usually looks better, like a lower table like this, just because of their proportions here. We've also got a little patio out here. If you are going to put these cabinets up top like this, I do recommend building them into the wall like you see here. Otherwise they're going to stick out real far. So something to consider, especially if you need that outside wall to be looking good. You probably won't want to use this technique because if you have like a red wall like this, that cabinet's going to show through on the outside. Over here, this one was inspired by maybe a grandmother's kitchen or an older person or a crazy cat lady. We got the cat up here on the countertop. Got a few different techniques going on here, and this is a cabinet technique that I use a lot. So these cabinets are jumper plates, and I place them either sideways if I want to make drawers, or long ways if I want to make doors. And I'll show you that technique here a little closer. So basically what I do is I'll take a snot piece. You can do this in one piece or two. I just happen to have two. And then I take a plate, 2x2, and put jumpers on it. If I want doors, I place them this way. And you can mount this right in the wall like this. If you want a top on the cabinet, you can put one of these, and that's kind of what I did here. And that'll stick out a little bit, and you can mount that right into your wall. Again, it won't look good on the other side, so be careful doing that. If you want to make a cabinet out of this, because you have the snot technique going on, these work good on the bottom, and then you can put a countertop on top that just barely hangs over, which is nice because a kitchen counter usually has a lip like that. And then again, if you want them sideways, you can make drawers. Up and down, you can make doors. And in comparison to a minifig, now this would typically go into the floor, so the minifig will stand at like this height, and it's a good height. It comes up just above their waist, and it's not too tall. Another way you can do this is like this, and I don't like this technique as much, but I've used this before as well. To separate the drawers a little bit, make them look a little better, you can put them on headlight pieces like this. This I use a lot for dressers in homes, where they don't have to worry about the height so much. And I have that next to a pair of doors that are sticking out on a snot piece. Now the reason I don't love this method, number one, it's hard to make the cabinet countertop hang over just a little bit, so it kind of sits back from the drawer, which isn't super realistic. Also, if you use headlight bricks and snot bricks, these are just stuck onto a snot brick. If you use both in the same build, you're going to be off by a half plate there, so they don't really line up, and the bottoms line up, but the tops don't. So I like this method better. It's a little smaller, less bulky. This also is going to sit taller once you put it on a floor. You have one plate taller on this. So I think these look a lot better, and that's what I mostly use now in my Lego kitchens. This refrigerator is something I've worked on for a long time, and I've made a few of these, and some are better than others. But this, the whole goal was to make it slimmer. When a refrigerator is 4 wide, it just looks huge. So the goal was to keep it about 3 wide. And the way I achieved that was normally when I used to build these, I would put a full brick on this side. But now I use a snot technique. And ideally this would be a 2x6 plate, but I don't have one of those in white. But that covers the side, and then you can build the rest of it just on 2x3 plate like this. And I think it looks really good. Scale-wise to a minifig is like perfect. I think these come out really, really nice when I do these. The last kitchen didn't have a refrigerator, and I kind of ran out of space, and these next two have them, so I figured that was enough. Got a little bundle of roses here on the table. Some teacups. Got my teapot back here. Little frying pan on the stove. We're going to talk about that oven and stove. We'll talk about it in the next kitchen. And then I made a little exhaust hood here. This piece here is a bunch of those oval 1x2 pieces built into the wall. So that's kind of my exhaust chimney. There's lots of different ways you could do this, but that's how I decided to do it. I've got some curtains just attached on a snot technique, and I kind of designed to look like some old-fashioned ugly curtains. Got the sink built into the countertop there, and of course we got the cat up there on the counter. Let's go ahead to the next one. So this kitchen is a lot of the same techniques. I made a little island here as well, with salt and pepper shakers on it, some mayo. Let's talk about this stove real quick. So this oven and stove, I worked quite a while on to get this just right. I've been trying to get a good scale. At the end of the day, I figured 2 wide was not wide enough, so I went 3 wide, and here's how I built it. So these pieces are fairly new to me. I don't know how new they are to Lego, but this is the double stud 3-long jumper, and I used these on the top and on the bottom. So that's the bottom. There's the top. And the way I built this, I took one of these jumpers. I took 2 of these snot pieces. These are ugly green, but you could really do these in any color. You're not going to see them. They're going to go like this. 2x2 tile on the sides. Your other one, you're going to do a 1x2 plate in the color that you choose to make your oven. This is the brownish trans, but you can also do this with clear trans. The one in here is actually clear trans. Put the handle on the front, which in this case is one of these silver pieces with a little track on it. Put the top on. Put the top on this one, and then they should just slide together. And they won't stick together, but once you stick them down, they won't move. One thing I really wish I could do, this is a stove piece that Lego makes, and it's really detailed. And I like how these look. The problem is you can't put a pan on these without it sliding around because there's no stud. It's just a tile. I would have loved to be able to put this on here. The problem is with this technique, these don't line up. And I could fix that with jumpers, but then I'm going to make it taller and I think it'll be ugly. So instead, this is nice because I can put a pan on it. And it works well. So that's how I make these ovens. And I think those turn out really good. The scale is almost perfect. This microwave up here is pretty similar. It's just a 3 wide with a trans piece in here. And then this piece, let me see if I can get in closer here. I have no idea what this is from. I picked it up just on Brick Owl. It must be from a microwave because it looks exactly like a microwave panel. It's just a 1x1 tile that I put on a snot piece to stick out. But that looks fantastic on the microwave. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Over here, I don't have a lot of detail on this because I didn't know how to make it look too much better, but that's the it's supposed to be a dishwasher. That's why it's a different color. And those are built under the countertop typically and usually next to a sink so it can drain on the same plumbing. Small curtain here. This fridge is basically the same fridge as what you saw in the other room. And that's about it for this kitchen. Now let's go ahead and move on to my final kitchen here, which I am super happy with how this turned out. I've got so many cool techniques in here, and this is something I've wanted to do for a while. So here we have the full restaurant kitchen. Well, not full. When building this, I was having so much fun, putting so much detail in it. I was like, I could make this 3 times as big and still not run out of things to add to this kitchen. And I guess that's kind of how restaurant kitchens are. There's just a lot in them. But down in front here, I have some of these prep tables. You know, on this one, I've got some foods kind of ready to go out. This one, it looks like they're getting ready to cook or bake. You know, I've got the little jar of oil, little wedge of butter there, you know, some spices and things, sack of flour, mixing bowl, maybe some salt in that little bowl. Over here we have the baked goods. One of my biggest beefs with Lego is the bread piece. Super cool and detailed, way too large, it's almost as tall as a minifig, but they give you no way to attach this to anything and make it look good. Yes, you could put some sort of clip underneath it, but it's going to look terrible on a countertop. So Lego, if you're listening, and I'm sure you're not, but that's okay, find a better way to make bread. So I've stuffed them in a bin here. That's the best I could come up with. I thought about leaving it out, but hey, it works. Got some cookies, pies, baked goods over here. And then I made a nice dishwashing station here. I took one of these hose pieces and a droid arm and made one of these overhead pot sprayers. I got the triple sink, and bear with me here, I've never worked in food service, so if this looks completely off, I'm sorry, I tried my best. Food service is not my thing, but I looked at a lot of pictures online to get a lot of good ideas, and hopefully you guys like how it turned out. But I got dishes up here that have been washed. I got dishes stacked behind Rick here, ready to be served on. Of course, we got to have the garbage overflowing like any business. And then back here, I made a nice big hood. And this is just snot techniqued onto the wall, just built out in bricks. You can actually leave it off here so you can see what's under it a little better. I've got a flat top grill here with some burgers on it. I wanted to put these on in dark reds. They looked raw. I don't, for some reason, have those pieces in dark red. So I guess they're already cooked. They're brown. A couple pots and pans. And in the fryer, I really played around with the color of the oil. So originally I had a white base and yellow clear trans on top, and it looked way too bright. It looked, well, I don't want to say what it looked like. But anyway, I put a brown plate underneath the clear trans yellow, and looks a lot more realistic, like kind of that golden brown dirty oil that you would fry French fries in. And then next to it, I have this grill. Down in the grill, I used a bunch of trans orange and red pieces to kind of make the flames down there. And put a couple pieces of chicken on there. And I think it turned out pretty good. I added in some mats here for no slip. I tried to make those out of grates, but I just couldn't get them to look right. If this tile was 2 plates deep, I could make them look better out of grates, or vents, whatever you want to call them. But so I just did black tile on there. I did one in front of the sink and a couple in front of the stoves or in the fryer. And then on these prep tables and the stoves and everything in here, I have these legs going on. Now, initially my idea was to use spyglasses. And also I should note, everything in here is light gray. Ideally, this would all be like pearl silver because it's all supposed to be stainless. But as you guys probably know, pearl silver, especially in most of these pieces, is unobtainable, at least in a large quantity and at a affordable price. So we went with light gray instead. So sorry about that, but I think it looks pretty good. And it kind of looks like stainless. When building these tables, I was intending to use spyglasses for legs. And when I built them, I did use them on this one with the dishes on it. I was like, wow, that's really tall. And again, I'm real big on scale with minifigs. If I were to put Rick behind this, it's up real tall, especially if I'm going to build on top of it. Because if I want to stick things down and make a tiled top, I have to make the tabletop 2 plates thick. And it would have just been too tall. So I was like, well, what can I do in its place? And what I came up with, which was a new thing to me, you guys may have used this before, is faucets. And they kind of come together and look like they're connected. So they actually look really realistic. They're a little shorter, actually a lot shorter than your spyglasses. 2 plates shorter. But again, if you're going to build a taller table on top of this, and this is the same technique I used on the sink, both the stove and the grill, and all the prep tables, works pretty good. You could also stack these even taller. If you want it in between the height of these two, you can put little 1x1 rounds on there, and it kind of brings this cross piece down, which looks nice. So you can have all different heights of them. And also, I like the width of the table to be 3. Initially, I used to always do 4 wide for tables, and again, with scale, that would be a really wide table if it were 4, which for some applications I think would work, but for this, the 3 wide worked really well, and it allows you to have those faucet pieces meet up perfectly. So I think it worked out really good with that. Also, this piece right here, I discovered recently. I got from my wife the set of the tiny little potted plants, and one of them had this as the center of the flower. And when I put it in the flower, all I could think is, those are French fries. So I used them here as French fries. I don't know how long that piece has been around, but I'd love to get more of those. I'm going to try to find that piece. And I don't even know what it's called, but they make awesome French fries. So there we have it. I'll give you guys one more look at all of these. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. If you do have any comments or questions or techniques that you think I could learn from, please leave them below in the comments. And let me know if you found the piece of sand red. It's in there. And we will see you next time.